So I did some math on the drive over here, and it genuinely stressed me out.
Uh-oh. Like, wait, good stressed or?
No, like existential crisis stressed. Because, okay, think about this for a second. If you put yourself in the shoes of someone who is, trading from home, right, sitting at their desk, and you manage to pull off a 10% return in a single month.
Which is, I mean, from everything we've looked at, that's insane. Like the S&P 500 does, what, 8, maybe 10% in a whole year?
The year, yes, exactly. So doing 10% in 30 days is a phenomenal, almost like hedge fund god-tier professional return if you can actually sustain it. But here is the thing. Here's the math that literally broke my brain in traffic. If you are trading on let's say a $10,000 account, that 10% return makes you $1,000.
Right. $1,000, which, okay, it's good side hustle money, I guess. It pays some bills. You're not retiring on it, but it's real money.
You pay rent maybe, or you buy a month of groceries depending on where you live. But, and this is the part that actually makes my stomach hurt, if you take that exact same performance, the exact same 10% return, the exact same physical clicking of the mouse, the exact same chart analysis, the exact same hours staring at the screen, but you do it on a $500,000 account.
Oh, my God.
They make $50,000 in 1 month. For the exact same amount of physical and mental work, the effort is completely identical. The only difference, literally the only variable that changed, is the capital you're sitting on. And I should probably, welcome to episode 6 of the Joinprop podcast. I'm the head of content here. And
I'm here to ask all the questions that you were probably screaming at your dashboard right now, because honestly, I'm just sitting here trying to process that math. $50,000 for the same mouse clicks.
It's messed up. It is fundamentally messed up when you realize how much of financial success is just access.
Wait, that's literally their business model.
Yes. The whole prop firm industry.
Like, the whole point is just getting access to the larger pool of money. Because if I make $1,000 on my own tiny account, I'm still broke. Like, I'm still taking the subway and stressing about rent. But if I make 50 grand, I'm doing very, very well. I'm looking at real estate.
You are living a completely different life. And that is why these scaling plans exist in the prop trading space. Because historically, like, think about Wall Street 20 or 30 years ago. If you wanted to make 50 grand a month trading your own book, you had to already be rich. You had to have $500,000 of your own cash just sitting around in a brokerage account to leverage.
Which nobody has, especially not in their 20s or 30s when they're, when you're trying to figure this stuff out and actually build a career. Who just has 500 grand in liquid cash?
Nobody. I mean, you'd have to spend 20 years accumulating the wealth, working some corporate job just to be able to trade at a level that actually pays you life-changing money. But the scaling plan, the modern prop firm model, basically says, look, you don't need to be born rich. You don't need to hoard cash for decades or have a trust fund. You just need to prove to a firm that you have the professional habits, and they will supply the capital.
Okay, but I mean, let's be real for a second. Nobody's just handing out $500,000 because you asked nicely and showed them a pretty spreadsheet. There has to be a patch, like a massive catch.
Oh, there's a huge filter, a brutal one. Because firms usually start you on an account somewhere between, say, $10,000 and maybe $100,000 if you're aggressive.
Yeah.
But you don't just get the money and start buying whatever tech stock is trending on Twitter. You enter what they call stage 1, which is the evaluation phase.
Evaluation. Okay, so like a test, like a probationary period at a new job where they watch over your shoulder.
Way, way more intense than that, because the metrics they use to evaluate you are intentionally designed to weed out people who are just getting lucky. It's not about just making money. So past stage 1, you typically have to hit a profit target of around 8 to 10%.
8 to 10. Okay, so we're back to that number. It doesn't sound completely insane if you have a decent strategy.
Well, no, listen to the second half of the rule. You have to hit that 8 to 10% profit, but you are only allowed a 4 to 10% maximum drawdown.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, think about that math.
So I have to make 10%, but if I lose... Wait, what did you say the drawdown limit was?
4 to 10%. Depending on the firm, but usually it's super tight. Like, let's say it's an 8% profit target and a 5% max drawdown.
That feels like a scam.
It's not a scam.
I'm not saying illegal. I'm saying it feels like one. Because if you're asking me to make 8%, but I get fired if my account drops 5%, the risk to reward ratio there is totally skewed against the trader. It's rigged.
I get why it looks like that. Because, okay, wait, let me back up. Let me put you in the shoes of the firm for a second. Because the firm is handing you their actual money, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's their capital online.
Supposedly. We know how some of these firms operate, but Yeah, let's assume it's real capital.
Let's assume it's real B-book or A-book capital.
Uh-huh.
They are terrified, absolutely terrified of traders who come in and treat it like a casino.
Yep.
Because if you have a $10,000 account and you swing for the fences on some insane tech stock earnings report, like you just dump your whole margin into one trade, maybe you get lucky and make 20% in a day.
And then I pass the evaluation. I'm a genius.
You pass, sure. The dashboard says congratulations. But then they give you a live account, a funded account, and you do the exact same reckless thing because that's your personality, and the market goes against you, and you blow up their money in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They do not want the home run hitters. The tight drawdown is intentionally built, mathematically built, to fail people who don't have strict risk management.
So it's basically forcing you to trade small. Because if I only have a 5% buffer, wait, it's at 5% of the starting balance? Like if I have 10 grand, I can only lose $500 total.
Yes, often it's static, but sometimes, and this is where it gets really dark, sometimes it's a trailing drawdown.
A trailing drawdown, meaning what? Like the finish line moves.
The floor moves.
Yeah.
So let's say you have that $10,000 account and your max drawdown is $500. So if your account hits $9,500, you're out. You fail.
Okay, simple enough.
But let's say you make $200 on your first day, so your account is at $10,200. If it's a trailing drawdown, your failure point just moved up by $200 too. Now your failure point is $9,700.
Oh, that is evil. That is straight up evil, because even if I'm in the green, if I hit a slump, I could fail the test while technically still being up for my original starting balance.
You could technically fail an evaluation while your account is at $10,050. Because you were up, the trail followed you, and then you took a dip. It is ruthless. It forces you to prioritize absolute monotonous consistency. Because if you can only lose, say, 4% of your account before you're fired, you can't go risking 2 or 3% on a single trade. You'll be out in 2 bad days.
It leaves zero room for error, like literally zero. If the market just has a weird week, like the Fed says something weird, or a jobs report spikes the chart for 10 seconds, you're out. Your evaluation fee is gone. Your time is gone.
It is a brutal filter. The fail rate is massive. But let's say you survive it. Let's say you are the disciplined robot they want. You hit your 10% target. You keep your drawdown at like 3%. You prove you're disciplined. You pass.
Okay, so then I get the big money. Give me the $500,000 I did the robot thing.
Nope, not even close.
Are you serious? I just passed the test. The whole point was the test.
You pass the first test, the entry exam. Now you enter stage 2, which they politely call consistency building, but honestly, it's financial purgatory.
Oh, come on. Purgatory. How many stages are there?
There are a few, but this one is the most frustrating. Because the first actual scale-up where they look at your account and say, okay, let's give you more money, that doesn't happen until you show 3 to 6 consecutive profitable months.
3 to 6 months.
Consecutive
Be profitable.
months.
That is, okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting annoyed for the listener right now. That is just moving the goalposts. If I already proved I can hit the 10% while dodging your insane trailing drawdown traps, why do I have to wait half a year to actually get rewarded for it? That feels like they just want to hold on to the money and collect fees while I spin my wheels.
Because anyone can get lucky for 30 days. The firm knows that 30 days of data is statistically meaningless in the financial markets. I mean, honestly, you could buy a random altcoin, have some billionaire tweet about it, have it pop, and pass an evaluation. It happens all the time.
So I just have to sit there grinding out tiny, tiny profits on a $10,000 account for half a year. What is the point of that? Just to prove I'm not a one-hit wonder.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Think about it like the minor leagues in baseball. You don't get called up to the Yankees just because you hit 1 home run in batting practice. You have to prove you can hit fastballs, curveballs, left-handed pitchers, right-handed pitchers across an entire season. Because what they're actually watching during that 3 to 6 months isn't just your P&L. It's not just the green numbers.
Just what are they watching?
They're looking at your sustainability. They want to know, are you maintaining comprehensive trading documentation? Do you actually have a journal? Are you following the firm's specific scaling rules?
Wait, they actually check your documentation? Like I have to submit homework?
Some firms literally require it if you want to request a scale-up. They want to see the logic behind the trades. They want to see a spreadsheet or a document that says, you know, I took this trade because the RSI was overbought and it hit the supply zone and my emotional state was calm. They are auditing your brain. Because think about the psychology of month 4. Let's play this out. You've had 3 green months.
Okay, I'm feeling good.
You're profitable. You are 1 month away from getting your account doubled. Month 4 starts, and you take a totally normal, mathematically sound loss on day 1. You are now in the red for month 4.
I'd be sweating because if I close the month red, the clock resets, right?
The clock completely resets. You're back to month 0.
Oh my God, I would lose my mind. So I just spent 3 months grinding. I take one bad trade on the first of the month, and now I'm staring down the barrel of starting over.
So what does a bad trader do in that exact moment?
They panic. They they double their position size to make up the loss quickly so they can just get back to break even, stay in the green, and keep their consecutive streak alive.
Which completely violates the risk management parameters that got them there in the first place.
The pressure of maintaining a consecutive streak is a trap. It's designed to break people who don't actually have emotional control. They want you to crack.
It proves you have a real system. Because if you have a real system, you take a loss on day 1, you close your laptop, and you say, my edge will play out over the next 29 days. You don't panic.
Honestly, okay, I hate it. I really do. But it makes sense. If I were lending some random person on the internet my actual money, I'd probably make them do the exact same thing. I'd want to see them sweat and not break.
It's a proving ground. It's a psychological gauntlet. So let's say you survived purgatory. You did your 6 months. You journaled everything. You were consistent. You took your losses on the chin. You didn't freak out. Now you finally hit stage 3, progressive increases.
Finally, the actual scaling plan. The thing we've been trying to get to this whole time.
Yes. This is where the magic happens. Your account size starts to double or increase incrementally based on your cumulative profits. You go from 10 grand to 20, 20 to 40, maybe you jump to 100 grand, then 250.
Okay, now we're talking. Now the math from earlier starts working in my favor. Now I'm doing the same amount of clicking, but the checks are getting bigger.
They are getting much bigger. But here is the paradox of scaling. And this is the part that trips up almost everyone who actually manages to get to this stage. As your account gets bigger, your risk per trade actually has to shrink.
What? Why? That doesn't make any sense.
You might be risking, say, 1% of your account per trade when you have a small account, like that $10,000 evaluation. But by the time you hit a 7-figure account, $1 million, your risk drops to like 0.5%, or even 0.25%.
Wait, stop. Let's logic this out. If I am a proven elite trader at stage 3, and I've jumped through all your trailing drawdown hoops, and I survived 6 months of purgatory, why is the firm forcing me to risk less of the capital? I'm better now than I was when I started. I should be risking 2%. I'm a proven asset.
Mathematically, yes, you are a proven asset. Your win rate is documented.
Mm-hmm.
But psychologically, you are not built for it. The human animal is not built for it. We are talking about regressive risk models here.
Regressive risk models. Okay, you're throwing terms out. Unpack that. What is regressive risk? Is that because, wait, is it because of the actual dollar amounts?
Think about the dollar amounts. Let's do the math again. Think about 1% of a $10,000 account.
It's $100.
You enter a trade. It goes bad. You lose $100. How do you feel in your body, physically?
Annoyed. I'm annoyed. Maybe I skipped getting takeout for dinner. I cooked pasta instead. But I'm fine. I'm not losing sleep.
You're totally fine. Your heart rate might spike a tiny bit when the stop loss hits, but your brain can process the loss of $100. You've lost $100 in your life before. It's a tangible, survivable concept. Now, take 1% of $1 million account.
$1,000.
$10,000. Imagine you were sitting at your exact same desk. In your exact same chair, you enter a trade, you click the mouse. 2 seconds later, the market wicks against you, some news drops, and you are staring at a floating loss on your screen of negative $8,000. Now it's negative $9,000. Boom. Stop loss hits, trade closes. You just lost 10 grand in 30 seconds.
I would literally throw. I am getting anxiety just hearing you say that. I would physically be sick.
You would throw up. A normal human being cannot process losing the equivalent of a reliable, used Honda Civic in 30 seconds without completely losing their mind. Your percentage-based discipline, all that logic you built up in purgatory, it just evaporates when confronted with the sheer psychological terror of large nominal dollar amounts.
Oh. Oh, wow. Okay. I see it now. Because my brain doesn't see 1%. My brain doesn't care about the Excel spreadsheet anymore. My brain sees I just lost my rent for the next 6 months in the time it took me to take a sip of coffee.
The human brain does not think in percentages when the dollar amount crosses a certain threshold of pain. It triggers a literal fight-or-flight response in your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And the firms know this. They have the data. They have seen thousands of traders who are absolute wizards on a 50K account completely self-destruct on a 500K account because they cannot handle the emotional weight of the swings. The P&L flicker is too intense.
So by forcing the risk to drop by making you use a regressive risk model where you drop to 0.5% or 0.25%, they're basically trying to keep the actual physical dollar amount within a range that won't make you hyperventilate. They are trying to keep the dollar amount below your puke threshold.
That is exactly what they are doing. It's stage 4, optimization. At this level, it's not just about the firm protecting their money from a bad trade. It's about protecting the trader from their own nervous system. They have to save you from yourself.
That is wild. I never thought about the emotional difference between the percentage and the actual cash. We always talk about trading like it's just math, just algorithms, but you're still a human looking at a screen.
It's the single biggest hurdle. It separates the people who make a living from the people who just play around. And at this optimization stage, it's not just the psychology you have to adapt. You actually have to develop complementary trading strategies.
Meaning what? Like changing how you treat entirely. Why would I change my strategy if it got me $1 million account?
Because the market doesn't stay the same. When you have a tiny account, you can afford to be a one-trick pony. You can have one specific breakout strategy. Like you only trade when the NASDAQ breaks the opening range in a high-volume bull market, and you just hammer it.
But that one trick doesn't work with $1 million.
It's not that it doesn't work with the money. It's that markets change phases. If it takes you, well, we'll get to the realistic timeline in a second, but if you're holding this account for years, the macro environment is going to shift. The market is going to cycle from a raging bull market where everything goes up to a vicious bear market to a sideways, choppy, low-volume mess for 6 months. If you only have one strategy, that opening range breakout, you are going to bleed out from 1,000 tiny cuts during that choppy phase.
So you need backups?
You have to develop multiple edges, a trend-following system, a mean reversion system, and implement advanced risk management to know when to deploy which one.
Okay, you mentioned the timeline. Let's get into that. How long does this actually take? Because you said 3 to 6 months just to get out of the minor leagues, out of purgatory.
Right. So the ultimate goal for most people in the prop space, like the Holy Grail, is the 7-figure allocation. Getting to that $1 million plus level where a 1% return is 10 grand. Under absolute mathematically optimal conditions, meaning you pass every evaluation on the first try, you never hit a plateau, the market aligns perfectly with your specific strategy every single month. A professional might hit a 1 million plus allocation in 12 to 24 months.
Okay, a year or two. Honestly, if you told me I could build $1 million business in 2 years, that's not terrible. People spend 4 years in college just to get a job paying 60 grand.
And this is a massive, towering, but the realistic timeline for most people.
Yeah.
The actual data we see for the people who actually make it.
2 to 4 years.
4 years.
4 solid years.
4 years of not messing up. 4 years of never hitting that random trailing draw limit. 4 years of managing your nervous system every single day. It is a grind. It is a total grueling grind.
Yeah.
And it's completely nonlinear. That's what people don't get. You don't just slowly make more money every month. You're going to have 3 months of amazing progress. You jump 2 scale-up levels. You feel like a god. And then you hit a plateau where you just trade sideways for 5 or 6 months.
6 months of zero progress.
Making nothing, losing nothing. You win a trade, you lose a trade. Just hovering right below the threshold for your next payout or your next scale up.
I would go crazy. Honestly, the patience required for that. I'm too anxious. I would need to see the line go up.
And that's the trap. That exact feeling you just described is the ultimate trap, because what happens when you hit a plateau in year 3? You've been doing this for 36 months. You're exhausted.
You get frustrated. You feel like you're wasting your time. You probably trying to force something to happen just to break the monotony.
You start thinking, I'm so close to the next funding tier. I'm literally 0.5% away. I just need a tiny 5% bump to get the next account size. So you deviate, you look at a chart, it doesn't quite meet your strict rules, your RSI isn't quite there, the volume is a little low, but you take the trade anyway just because you're bored or impatient.
And it goes against you.
Of course it goes against you. Now you're in the red. You just undid a month of sideways grinding in one bad decision.
Oh, no. I can see exactly where this is going. The nervous system kicks in.
And what's the ultimate critical success factor we see failing traders violate at this exact moment? What is the cardinal sin? Revenge trading.
Revenge trading, like trying to get back at the market. Taking it
Yeah,
personally.
taking it incredibly personally. You deviate from your position sizing to make up for the dumb loss you just took. You think, I just need to make that money back, and then I'll go back to my rules. So instead of risking your regressive 0.5%, you risk 3%. Because you're convinced the market owes you a bounce. You're looking at the chart, yelling it has to go up.
And it doesn't bounce.
It drops further. Support breaks. And in one afternoon, literally one random Tuesday afternoon when you should have just gone for a walk, you blow past the maximum drawdown limit. You violate the rules.
And you lose the account? The whole thing, a 3-year account?
The firm pulls the account.
Right.
Your dashboard goes gray. An email pops up saying you breached the parameters.
Yeah.
4 years of scaling progression, 4 years of journaling, 4 years of purgatory and optimization. Gone. Because you couldn't handle the emotional frustration of a plateau on a Tuesday.
Oh my God. I don't even have words for that.
It happens every day.
That is, honestly, that's devastating to even think about. But it also strips away all the glamour I see on social media.
Oh, completely. The Lambos, the watches.
Because the way it's sold online, right? You go on Instagram or TikTok and it's like, pass this simple challenge, copy my trades, and live on a beach in Dubai tomorrow. But what you're actually describing is a highly psychological, grueling, multi-year grind where you are constantly fighting your own brain. This isn't a get-rich-quick side hustle at all. The firm's rules are entirely designed to protect their capital, not your ego. They do not care about your beach in Dubai.
They do not care about your ego. They will let you self-destruct and just collect the evaluation fee from the next guy. My biggest takeaway from all the data we look at behind the scenes is that this entire game is just about surviving. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's not about having a magical indicator or predicting the future of the S&P. It is literally just surviving long enough, dodging the landmines, and not blowing up your account so you can just let the math work for you on a larger scale.
Just staying in the game, managing the risk.
Stay in the game. Don't throw up when you see a $10,000 floating loss on $1 million account. And whatever you do, do not revenge trade on a Tuesday. Simple rules, but incredibly, deeply hard to follow for a human being.
Yeah, simple definitely does not mean easy. Those are two very different words.
Very different. And speaking of things that are incredibly hard and frustrating, next time, we're actually going to get into something even more annoying than waiting 6 months in purgatory for a payout. We're going to talk about the hidden reasons why firms deny payouts, even after you followed every single rule we just talked about.
Oh, I'm already angry about it. I'm ready to fight the firms.
It's going to be a fun one. But until then, I want you to think about this. What is your actual relationship with money? When does a number on a screen stop being just a digit and start feeling like a car or a house or a year of your life? Because until you figure out where that line is in your own head, the market is going to find it for you. Try not to do the math on what you could be making. It'll just stress you out. See ya.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.